"Happy anniversary, babe," I whispered, holding the keys in my hand. "You're gonna lose your mind when you see this." I pushed open the front door. The lights were off. "Mia," I called out. "You home?" No answer. This place. Skipped meals. Missed birthdays. I wanted her to have everything. This was supposed to be the beginning of forever. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Then I heard it. A laugh. A man's laugh. My stomach dropped. I followed the sound to the bedroom. Door. It was slightly ajar. I pushed it open. "Oh my God!" Mia yelped, covering herself with a sheet. Jared turned his head slowly, smirking. "Hey man, you're home early." I couldn't move. Couldn't speak. Mia clutched the sheet tighter. "It's not what it looks like. Don't," I said quietly, my throat burning. "Don't insult me like that." She sat up, panic in her voice. "I didn't mean for this to happen." "How long?" I asked, still frozen in the doorway. She looked down. "How long?" I repeated, louder this time. 6 months, she whispered. I let out a bitter laugh. 6 months? While I was breaking my back so we could buy this place, you were in here with him." Jared stood up, still naked. "Look, man, she was miserable. You were never home, always working." I clenched my fists. "Get out of my house." Mia's eyes widened. "Your house?" I tossed the keys on the floor. "The one I just bought today. The one I was going to surprise you with." Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. "You were going to give me the house?" she asked, voice shaking. I stared at her. "You were my world, Mia. I would have given you everything." She got off the bed, wrapping herself in a blanket. "Wait, can we talk about this? Please?" I turned away. "There's nothing left to say." She reached for my arm. "Please, just..." I pulled back. "You made your choice." Jared walked past me with a grin. "Guess I'm staying over tonight." I swung before I even realized it. My fist connected with his jaw, sending him sprawling into the hallway. Mia screamed, "Stop it, what's wrong with you?" I stood over Jared, breathing hard. "Stay away from me, and stay away from what's mine." He wiped blood from his lip and laughed. "Looks like it's not yours anymore, buddy." I turned back to Mia. "You know what hurts the most? It's not that you cheated. It's that I didn't see it coming. I trusted you." Tears filled her eyes. "I didn't plan this, I swear." I stepped back toward the door. "You planned enough. You planned to smile at me every morning while lying through your teeth." She moved closer. "Please don't walk away. We can fix this." I shook my head. "No, you broke something I can't fix." She was sobbing now. "I made a mistake." "You made a choice," I said coldly. "A mistake is burning dinner. You don't accidentally sleep with someone for 6 months." I turned and walked out. My legs felt numb. My chest felt like it had been ripped open. She chased after me. "Please." I turned around one last time. "You wanted him? You got him. But don't come looking for me when he leaves you too." Then I got in the car, slammed the door, and drove. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I had to get away from her. From that house. From the life I thought we had. The streetlights blurred as I sped through the night. My phone buzzed, her name flashing across the screen. I let it ring. Then I blocked her. My hands trembled. As I gripped the wheel, I screamed until my voice gave out. Not because I wanted her back, not even because I was angry. I screamed because I had nothing left. Because love, real, loyal love, was a lie. Because I'd given her everything, and she gave herself to someone else. "I'm not asking for much," I said, gripping the edge of the table. "Just the house, that's it. She can take everything else." Mia didn't even look at me. She crossed her legs and dabbed her fake tears with a tissue. Her lawyer cleared his throat. Your Honor, my client has endured emotional abandonment for years. He was never home. She felt like a prisoner in her own marriage, I scoffed. I was working. For her. For that house. The judge raised his hand. You'll have your turn to speak. I turned to my lawyer. You're gonna say something, right? He barely glanced up from his folder. Let them finish. Mia sniffled. I tried, Your Honor, but he just stopped being present. He became obsessed with money, not me. You slept with your ex, I shouted. Mr. Hayes, the judge snapped. Control yourself. She cheated and now she gets rewarded? I leaned forward. Is this a joke? Her lawyer adjusted his tie. There's no proof of adultery. And even if there was, California is a no-fault state. Property division is based on contribution, not emotion. I stared at him. I paid for everything, every damn brick. He smiled politely. Which makes it marital property, jointly owned. I wanted to flip the table. The judge sighed. I've heard enough. Final ruling, Ms. Hayes will retain the house and shared possessions. Mr. Hayes will vacate the premises within 48 hours. I froze. What? It's over, Mia said softly, pretending to be sad. I laughed bitterly. You really pulled it off, didn't you? She didn't answer. I walked out of the courtroom without looking back. I didn't need to see her fake sadness anymore. Outside, I sat on the curb staring at 2 black trash bags that held everything I owned. A few shirts, my toothbrush, a photo of my mom. That was it. You all right, man? A voice asked. I looked up. The janitor was pushing a broom across the courthouse steps. Fine, I muttered. He nodded, then swept past me without another word. My phone buzzed. Marcus, you good? He asked. No. You need a place? I'll figure it out. Where? Are you sleeping tonight? In my car. Silence. You serious? He asked. Yeah, he sighed. All right, call me if you change your mind. I hung up and stared at the sky. It was starting to rain. That night I parked across the street from the house. My house. The lights were on. I saw her silhouette in the kitchen. She looked happy. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. She even kept Mom's ring, I whispered. The one thing that wasn't hers, the one thing she knew mattered to me more than anything. I blinked hard, but the tears came anyway. A knock on the window startled me. It was the same janitor from earlier. He was walking down the sidewalk with a hot dog in hand. He looked at me for a second, then handed it over. I don't want your pity, I said. He shrugged. Didn't ask what you wanted. I stared at him. Why? You look like a man who's lost more than he deserved. I took the hot dog. He kept walking. I sat there biting into cold bread, staring at the house that once held my future. You can have it, I whispered. But you won't have me. I closed my eyes and made a promise right then. This will never happen to me again. No one would ever take something from me again, not without a fight, not without losing 10 times more. You sleeping in that thing? Marcus asked, eyeing my car as he pumped gas. Yeah, I muttered. For now. He smirked. Rough divorce? I stared at the pump screen. Something like that. Been there, he said. Wife took my dog and my tools. Mine took the house and my mom's ring. Marcus whistled. Damn, that's colder. We stood in silence for a beat. You work? He asked. Security guard, nights, trying to get a second job. You build? I'll learn. He raised a brow. You serious? Dead serious. Meet me here tomorrow at 6 a.m. You don't show, don't bother again. I'll be here. You ever touch a hammer before? Marcus asked the next morning. I've held a bat. He laughed. Good enough. He handed me a rusted tool belt. This one's a flip. We're gutting the kitchen. Don't break the walls unless I tell you. I nodded and followed him inside. That was the first time I met Eli. He didn't say a word, just handed me gloves and pointed to the pile of debris I needed to move. "You always this quiet?" I asked. He nodded once, then went back to work. "Okay," I whispered. "Cool." "You're not bad," Marcus said a week later, wiping sweat off his forehead. "I'm learning. You're working like a man who's pissed at the world." "I am. You planning on telling me why?" "No," he chuckled. "Fair enough." We loaded drywall into the truck. My arms burned, but I didn't stop. "You flip enough houses," he said. "You'll stop feeling like everything was taken from you." "I don't want to stop feeling it." "Why?" "Because it's the only thing keeping me going." He paused. "Revenge?" I looked at him. "Yeah, I get that." 3 months in, we sold our third flip. My cut was small, but it was the most cash I'd held in years. "What are you going to do with it?" Marcus asked over diner coffee. "Save it." "For what?" "Something big," he nodded. "You ever thought about buying your own?" "Too soon." "Not if you keep working like this." I glanced at Eli, who was quietly sipping black coffee. "You think I can do it?" I asked. Eli looked up. "Yeah." It was the first word he ever said to me. "You still sleeping in the car?" Marcus asked one night. "No, couch surfing now. My buddy lets me crash." He handed me a key. "Take the spare room. You earned it." "I can't. It's a roof, not a favor." "Thanks." He nodded. "Just don't eat all my cereal." "You ever think about what you'd do if you saw her again?" Marcus asked while cutting tile. "All the time." "And?" "I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't cry. I'd just smile." "That's dark, man." I looked at him. "It's honest." He stood up, back cracking. "You keep working like this. She won't recognize you when that day comes." "Good. That's the point." The fifth house we flipped had a broken porch, peeling paint, and a leaky roof. "You sure this one's worth it?" I asked. "Everything broken is worth fixing," Marcus replied. "Same rule applies to people." Eli handed me a crowbar. I smashed through the rotten wood like it owed me money. "Feel better?" Marcus grinned. "Little bit." 6 months passed. My savings grew. My body hardened. My mind sharpened. I stopped checking Mia's socials. Stopped driving past the house. Stopped wondering if she regretted it. I didn't care anymore. I had different plans, big ones, and she wasn't in any of them. "Nice car," Tessa said, leaning against the hood. "You sure you're not a drug dealer?" I smirked. "I flip houses." She raised an eyebrow. "Cash buyer. No mortgage. No questions. That makes people curious." "I don't like questions," I noticed. She handed me a clipboard. "Sign here and it's yours." I signed without reading. "That's 3 houses in 2 months," she said, "all on the same street." "Coincidence." She narrowed her eyes. "You grew up here or something?" "Something like that." "You gonna tell me what's so special about this block?" "No," she laughed. "Mysterious and moody, dangerous combo." I turned to face the house. My house was 3 doors down. Mia stood on the porch, sipping iced tea. Jared leaned against the rail, shirtless, loud as ever. Tessa followed my gaze. "Know them?" "Nope," she smirked. "Liar." "Hey," a voice called as I walked to my car. "You look familiar." I turned. Mrs. Duvall. Gray bun, floral dress, same cat in her arms. "I doubt it," I said. "You lived here before, didn't you?" "Long time ago." She smiled. "I never forget a face. You used to mow my lawn for $5. I chuckled. "You still got the same cat?" "This one's number 4. She studied me." "You look good, honey. Different, but good." "Thanks." "You buying up the street?" "Maybe." She leaned in. "I remember what they did to you." I froze. She pointed toward Mia's house. "That girl broke you, but you didn't stay broken." I looked her in the eye. "Not forever." She nodded, like she understood more than I said. "Well, welcome back. By the end of the month, I owned 4 houses. Tessa met me at each one." "You're serious about this, huh?" she asked. "Very." "Flipping them?" "Eventually. Because they all look like teardowns." "That's The idea, she paused. You gonna tell me what your game is? No, she laughed again. You're annoying. I know. You're lucky. Night, engine off, watching the porch light across the street flicker. Jared came out with a beer, yelling into his phone. Mia followed, grabbing his arm. Just come inside, she said. You're being loud. He pushed, past her. You always nagging, Mia. I should have stayed with Tiffany. Mia flinched. I rolled up my window. Why this street? Tessa asked again a week later. You ask a lot of questions. Because you don't answer any. I looked her dead in the eye. What if I told you I'm not here to fix these houses? Then why are you buying them? Because they remind me of who I used to be. She studied me. And I'm not that man anymore. Mrs. Duval waved at me as I walked past her gate. You gonna tear them all down? She asked. Eventually, she rocked in her chair. Good. They're all falling apart anyway. I stopped. You think people deserve second chances? She smiled. Only the ones who don't beg for them. That night, I parked in the driveway of the house next door to Mia's. She stepped outside with a trash bag, noticed my car, and stared. I didn't. Look at her. She took a step toward me. I put the car in reverse and pulled away. Not yet. Let her wonder. Why are there trucks outside? Tessa asked, peering over her sunglasses. They're here for the job, I said. She squinted down the street. This entire block? Every house I own. Her eyes widened. You serious? Dead serious. She turned to me slowly. You're not flipping them. You're erasing them. I didn't answer. She let out a low whistle. You really don't do anything halfway, do you? Nope. Engines roared to life at 7 a.m. The sound shook the quiet block awake. I stood beside the lead excavator wearing a dark suit Mia had never seen, arms crossed. The first hammer swung into the roof of the house across from hers. Mia burst out the front door in slippers. Hey! What the hell is going on? I didn't speak. Excuse me, she shouted, marching toward the trucks. Who gave permission for this? A man in a vest pointed to me. Him. She turned. Her eyes scanned my face, confused. Wait, I know you? I smiled. Not anymore. What is this? Demolition. Of what? Everything. Jared came stomping out shirtless, scratching his stomach. Yo, you can't just tear down the block. I can, I said calmly. Who the hell even are you? I own the land, all of it. Mia blinked. What? That's not possible. I bought them, quietly, legally, months ago. You're lying. I pulled a folder from my briefcase and handed it to her. Those are the permits, approved. Signed, stamped. Jared grabbed the papers. This can't be real. It's real. Why would you do this? Mia asked, voice rising. I looked at her coldly. Because I can. You think you're gonna scare me? Jared snapped. I stepped closer. No, I don't need to, he laughed. You think you're better than me just because you got a suit and some trucks? I don't think it. I know it. He clenched his jaw. I'll call the city. I'll call the news. You're not gonna get away with this. I already did. Mia stepped between us. Please, don't do this. You don't have to destroy everything. I looked past her at the house. That place was already ruined. I'm just removing the pieces. This is where we live, she whispered. You stole it. She swallowed. We didn't know it was you. That's the part I enjoyed most. The first wall collapsed with a thunderous crack. Jared jumped. Jesus! I didn't flinch. Mia's voice shook. This is personal, isn't it? I turned toward her. It was never about money. Then what? It's about power. Later, as I walked toward my car, Tessa met me halfway. Well, she said, that was intense. They'll get over it. She grinned. You looked like a villain from a movie. Good, she leaned in. You planning on stopping after this? No, she smiled. Didn't think so. I stood by as more trucks rolled in, engines humming like a war cry, people gathered on porches, phones out, faces stunned. But no, one stopped me, because this time, I held all the cards, and I was done being quiet. Wait, Mia shouted, heels clacking across the pavement. Please, just wait. I didn't stop walking. She caught up, breathless. Can we talk? Just for a second? I opened my car door. We said everything 3 years ago. I didn't mean for it to happen like that, she said, eyes glossy. I made a mistake. No, you made a decision. I was confused. I looked at her. Are you confused now? She hesitated. No. Then we're good. She stepped in front of the door. Don't do this. Don't tear everything down. You mean the life you built on someone else's pain? I didn't know it would hurt you like that. I laughed. You slept with your ex while I worked overtime for your dream house. Her voice cracked. I thought you didn't love me anymore. You thought wrong. She wiped her face. You've changed. Yeah, I said. I buried the version of me who begged. I miss who you were. I don't. She grabbed my wrist. Please, Jared's not who I thought he was. He's angry, cold, he drinks. He says things. You picked him. I was stupid. No, I said calmly. You were selfish. She lowered her voice. I'm sorry. I'm not here for your apology. She stepped closer. Then why are you here? I stared into her eyes. For me. You don't mean that, she whispered. You're doing all this because you're still hurt. No, I said. I'm doing this because I'm finally not. She touched my chest. We had something real. Then you should have fought for it. I thought you'd fight for me. I did, I said, until you became the war. Can we just start over? She asked. I looked at her hand still resting on me. No. She leaned in, her breath warm on my cheek. Please, just one kiss. I pulled back. You're kissing the ghost of someone you destroyed. Tears spilled down her face. I don't want to lose you again. You already did. Silence fell between us. Roar of a nearby truck filled the space. I never thought you'd come back like this, she said. I didn't come back, I replied. I outgrew this place and came to burn what was left. She turned away, hugging herself. So, what now? You bulldoze everything? That's the plan. And me? You'll watch. She looked at the house like she was finally seeing it for the first time. This used to feel like a dream, she said. For you, maybe. For me, it became a nightmare. She faced me. Is there really no part of you that still loves me? There's a part of me that remembers loving you, I said. That part died in a parked car outside this house, she sobbed, stepping back toward the porch. You got your revenge. You win. Just stop, please. This was never about winning, I said, getting in my car. This was about reclaiming what you tried to steal, me. As I pulled away, I saw her in the mirror, standing on the porch, alone, watching a city crew spray red marks on the front steps. Her dream was officially condemned, and for the first time in years, I felt free. You sure you want to stand this close? Marcus asked, pulling goggles over his eyes. I need to see it, I said. He handed me a mask. It's gonna get ugly. I know. The first wall came down with a thunderous crunch. Wood splintered. Glass shattered. Dust filled the air. I didn't blink. That's 2 down, Eli said softly. Keep going, I replied. Trucks moved. Claws tore. Beams cracked like bones. Every crash echoed through my ribs like release. Tessa showed up mid-morning. You're really doing it. Too late to stop now. She looked around at the rubble. This was someone's neighborhood. It was mine first. Her gaze lingered on my face. And now it's mine again. Mia came outside around noon, arms folded tight. Jared followed behind her, pacing. "You can't do this," he shouted. "I already did," I said. "There's no warning, no notice. You got both, in writing, delivered twice." "This is harassment," Mia snapped. "We have nowhere to go." I stared at her. "I know the feeling." "You're ruining lives," Jared barked. I stepped closer. "You ruined yours the second you laid a hand on mine." He puffed his chest. "You think you're a god now?" "No, just the man with the deed." Later, I watched movers toss boxes onto the sidewalk. One of them dropped a lamp, Mia's favorite. She didn't even flinch. Jared yelled at them, but no one responded. That silence. I remembered it well. It used to be mine. Now it was theirs. "You want help finding a new place?" I asked her quietly. She blinked. "Why would you offer that?" "To see if you'd say yes." "And if I did?" "I'd walk away anyway." She looked down. "Right." Marcus stood beside me, arms crossed. "You really going through with the full teardown?" "All of it." He watched another wall fall. "You ever think about building something new here?" "Someday." He nodded. All this? It's starting to look like peace." The wind shifted. Dust swirled around our boots. "Funny," I muttered. "What is?" "This used to be the cleanest street I'd ever seen. I thought that meant it was safe." "Clean doesn't mean pure. Neither does love," I added. By sunset, 4 more houses were piles of wood and ash. The block was vanishing. So was everything that once held me down. Eli passed me a bottle of water. "That's the last crew today." I nodded. "We'll keep going tomorrow." "You okay?" For the first time in years. Mia stood on the curb with one suitcase. No one greeted her. No neighbor offered help. No one cared. She looked at me, but I didn't stop walking. I was done explaining. The past was buried, in dust, in debris, in silence. And I had no plans of digging it back up. "You really did it," Marcus said, standing under the awning with a coffee in hand. "I said I would." He nodded slowly. "Most people just talk." I talked for years. Then I got tired of hearing myself. The rain dripped steady on the sidewalk, darkening the pavement outside the glass doors. Eli stood beside the new sign, the foundation for men starting over. He handed me the keys. "You open it," he said. I took them. My hands didn't shake. "Not this time." "You nervous?" Marcus asked. "No." "Liar," I smirked. "Maybe a little." "What if no one shows?" "Then I'll be here anyway." At 9 a.m., I unlocked the doors. By 9:03, the lobby was half full. Single dads holding hands. With confused kids, men with bruised eyes. Men who looked like I did. Once. "You sure they'll talk?" Marcus whispered. "They don't have to. Just being here is enough." He looked around. "You built this from dust." "Dust is honest. It shows what came before." Tessa walked in with a clipboard. "You still hate questions?" "I tolerate yours." She grinned. "How's it feel?" "Like peace. Not revenge? No. Revenge is loud. This is quiet, steady." The crowd hushed as I stepped onto the small stage. "I'm not here to give a speech," I said, "but I want you to know I've been where you are." Heads nodded. "I know what it's like to be forgotten, to lose everything." I paused, thought of the car, the couch, the dust. But this place isn't about what you lost. It's about what you build after. When I stepped down, a man in the back approached me. He had a janitor's uniform, old shoes, a familiar face. "You don't remember me, do you?" he asked. I studied him. "Wait, the street cleaner?" He nodded. You cried in your car. That night. I saw you. I smiled. Yeah, I remember now. I wanted to say something then, but I didn't. You just swept the street. I figured that's what you needed. He looked around. Guess you were sweeping more than sidewalks. Eli clapped me on the back. We made it, Marcus added. No, you made it. I looked out at the rain. No, I said. We all did. Looks like someone's circling the block, Marcus muttered, nodding toward the window. I didn't move. You gonna look? No. Why not? Because it doesn't matter. The car crawled past the front of the center. I saw it in the reflection of the door. Silver, familiar, slow. Mia's. But I didn't turn my head. You think she'll come in? Marcus asked. She won't. You sure? She knows she's not part of this. Eli approached, handing me a folder. New applicant. Needs housing and part-time work. Got an opening at the front desk? Yeah. Let's give him that. Eli paused. You okay? I nodded. Better than I've ever been. My phone buzzed. Tessa. Proud of you. I smiled. Marcus peeked at the screen. She finally admits she likes you? She doesn't have to. I already know. Outside, the car slowed again. Still, I didn't turn. What if she comes inside? Marcus asked. She won't. And if she does, I'll let her walk past, same way she did to me. I headed toward the kitchen. You really don't want to see her? Eli asked from behind me. No. He waited. Not even to show her who you became? She's not worth showing, and I'm not here to prove anything. Someone knocked. At the front door, one of the new guys opened it. Delivery, the man said, holding 2 boxes. Lunch, I told him. Grab plates. We handed out food, laughed, sat on the floor. No chairs yet. Didn't matter. We had everything else. Still. There? Tessa's voice came from the hallway. Who? Silver car. She parked 2 blocks over. I kept stacking boxes. She'll leave when she realizes no one's watching. She used to have your whole heart. She crushed it. And now? Now she doesn't even cross my mind unless someone says her name. Tessa walked closer. You know, most people would have waved, just to show they're doing fine. I don't need to wave. I built a damn building. She smiled. Fair. Enough. The car was gone by sunset. I didn't see it leave. Didn't need to. The only direction I cared about was forward. The past doesn't live here anymore, and neither does she.